ammo, that's just fucking great.
Hey guys, what's up? Today I got another duel commentary with Navy Ninja, also known as Dale.
What's going on?
And this is some zombie gameplay from Black Ops 2. And we're going to keep it inside of the zombie theme and talk about The Walking Dead. So Dale, as someone that's never read the comic but has only watched the show, what do you think of this series overall?
I am a big fan of this series. I mean, it's apart from what everybody's coming up with, come across as far as TV shows, what everybody's making up. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of zombie movies out there, and I think zombies are coming back as a big thing. But this series shows a struggle of, a group of people and what, them trying to survive throughout this zombie apocalypse. And while they're trying to survive, obviously they're trying to find, a way to, what should I say, like, I guess find a cure. So I don't know, like, I really like it. I like the series, and I like the story along to it. Lately there's been some kind of blahness to it. It could be the fact that now they're focusing more on people versus people instead of people versus zombies. I mean, throw a little zombies in there, yeah. Um, or it could be the fact that everybody's also now getting used to the whole zombie things and be like, well, you can only go so far with zombies. But it seems like with this, they're kind of going, beyond that, and it's really grabbing everybody's attention. And I really like it.
I think I like this show to an extent. I like it better than any zombie movie I've ever seen because with the movies, they only have like 90 minutes or so and they can only do so much. And they really never capture the people versus people thing that happens inside of the apocalypse that The Walking Dead has done. And
It's always people versus zombies.
Right. And I think even though The Walking Dead is on cable television, they get away with a lot of stuff that I'm surprised that they're able to do because some of the stuff is pretty brutal, and I'm surprised they let them get away with that. But it's more it's more along lines of stuff you would normally see in a movie, but you're seeing it on TV.
Right.
But as myself, I have read the comic and watched the show. Currently, I just finished, I think, 118 or 117 in the comic, so I am current as far as the comic is concerned. And of course, just like every situation, when a book gets made into a movie or into a TV show, what have you, or a comic gets made into the movie, the comic is, of course, and the book or whatever is, of course, better than the show, in my opinion. There's some things that they've done in the show that I think would have been cool had it been done in the comic. I mean, I don't want to see the comic turned directly into video form. It has to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stuff they've done in the show that differed dramatically from the comic, I didn't like how they did that. If they continue to do the show for an extended period of time, some of the stuff that they've done in the show really screws up the storyline later on, which I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, any listener, if that hasn't, read the comics, so they don't know what's supposed to, what's supposed to happen next. And another thing that's interesting, I think, about the show is the fact that they have characters in the show, a few characters in the show that didn't exist in the comic. There's no, there's no Daryl in the comic, but yet he's in the show. And I think the addition of Daryl, I think he's a little, I like Daryl, but I think he's a little glorified, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. It'd be like, if Daryl dies, we riot, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can see, like, he started getting big, especially like in the second season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but lately he's been kind of, I don't know. I guess he's pretty much made it to like the highest point you can go. I don't know if there's any way kind of down except for killing him. So but I can see what you mean as far as being over glorified. Because I mean, I do like Daryl and everything, and but I don't see the whole if Daryl dies we riot thing. I just don't know. I don't feel that way towards a character.
Now, one thing that Robert Kirkman has done very successfully is he has said basically that he'll kill off anyone, that no one is safe. And my answer to that is you can't kill Rick. And people's counter answer to that is, well, he could make the story primarily about Carl then. Yeah, he can do that, but that no character is safe. So when you're reading the comic at any point in time in the comic, one of the characters that you're used to reading for a very long time could all of a sudden abruptly die. He'll kill off anyone at any point in time. And one thing I find so great about it is that you don't see it coming for a lot of them.
No.
But the show kind of builds it up to that, which I wish that they wouldn't really do that, be more abrupt like the comic is. And I think it's kind of more realistic that way because in, say, a zombie apocalypse happened, you could just abruptly die at any point in time.
Right.
There's not, you could just go out and be, taking a piss by the fence, and then all of a sudden, one got in, but no one's seen it, and then you're dead.
Hmm.
So I like the fact that in the comic, he just no build up to anyone's death or anything like that.
It's
You
just
know,
bam, it happens.
yeah, and I think that's the most realistic it could possibly be in that situation. But I would recommend for anyone that is a fan of the show to actually read the comic. It's more satisfying. Some people may, there's some people out there that aren't comics type people. They can't get into them or whatever, and that's cool. I respect that. But I think very few people will actually go from the show to reading the comic and say that they like the show better, because for one, they can do more in the comic than what they can do on the show, and for
Hmm.
two, the storyline is better in the comic than what it is in the show. I don't like how they screwed up the ending as far as I'm concerned of the third season, and then the fourth season, the first half of it's just nothing but blah.
Right.
It comes in like months after the ending of the third season. They don't explain anything that happened during the off time, which they did that between season 2 and 3 as well. But it's just I don't like how they keep doing that. They never explained the council, which I knew. I understood the council because I read the comic, but for people that didn't, they had no idea what the hell was going on and why there was a council or whatever. And I don't like what they're doing with Rick's character in the show because he's a much better, deeper character in the comic.
Yeah, I gotta. I myself am one of those people that need to read the comics because from what you're telling me and what I would be interested in finding out the differences between them, and it actually might solve problems. It actually might help me think as to what would happen next. Like you're just like, all right, well, this happened in the comic, but all of a sudden this happened in the show, and if you read the comic, you even though it might be opposite, it might someone give you ideas what might happen next. But it's still like interesting as far as the differences between them. So in like how each character is portrayed.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. No, one thing that gets me is I find more and more people every day that don't know that the show is based off of a comic. They don't even
Right.
know the comic exists.
I didn't really know until like after the first season. You're like, oh, you know it's a comic, right? And I was like, no.
I knew The Walking Dead was a comic, but I didn't know it was a show until the first season came out on DVD. So we survived like 8 rounds on Mob of the Dead. Yeah, we're not the greatest when it comes to two people on this map. So yeah,
We kick ass.
there's a bomb over there by that other thing.
Yeah, don't you know, dude? Come on now. You should know what the other thing is.
I wish it would have kept our commentary and like our in-game commentary, so I could have just put that part. And that's it. 3 things left to do. As always, comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. Later, guys.